You ready? Let's go.
I would like to know what this movie means to you. It seems very important because you're going so far as to spend time promoting it. So
well, we have to do promotion as part of everything. I'm sorry, but you can't do things and not promote it. It's not the way the world works, as you well know. Yeah, I'm not going to over promote it. I mean, doing 4 interviews is not so big, but I always liked James Brown since I was really young and everything. And, you know, and I met him when I was really young, so it was exciting to do a movie about someone that you'd always admired, but yet had a really good story, because it wasn't just like, you know, not everyone has lives like his. It's sort of, you know, inherently a fascinating life, you know, coming from this pre-war poverty, strange rural background and everything. And working his way up to being like this kind of, from that to being an artist that's like still kind of revered by kind of hip hop people and everything. It's kind of that's a long trajectory, you know, of a career, you know, like the ripples of which still go on.
Mm. Yeah, you could do 10 movies about his life.
It would be very boring to do 10, but one, I've done 2.
How did you first get involved in that story? Did you want to do that movie yourself, or did it just happen that people wanted to do it and you took part of?
Au début, il y a un ami de moi qui travaille un peu pour moi. Alors, il me demandait de faire un documentaire sur James Brown. Et je dis, j'ai juste fini le documentaire de Rolling Stones qui s'appelle Crossfire Hurricane, j'ai fini ça. Alors, il dit, oh, maintenant, tu n'as rien à faire. Je dis, non. Et il dit, oui, faire un documentaire pour moi sur le James Brown. J'ai demandé à lui, tu as tous les droits des chansons, parce que ça, c'est toujours un grand problème avec ces films, parce que les droits des chansons sont là, c'est très difficile. Les gens ont tant de l'argent pour rien. Alors, OK. Oui, il dit à moi, oui, j'ai tous les droits de toutes les chansons. Et aussi tous les enregistrements aussi. C'est très important. Je dis, OK, je vais réfléchir. Laisse-moi 24 heures réfléchir. Alors, je me lève le matin et je dis, je fais le documentaire, mais je voudrais faire bien une histoire, une fiction, je ne sais pas le mot en français, un feature. Alors, j'ai découvert immédiatement, il y a un script, toujours en Hollywood, il y a un script sur les Rolling Stones, un script, oui, bien sûr, les scripts. Alors, j'ai dit à mon ami, alors, OK, on va chercher le script sans dire rien à personne pour voir si le script est bon ou pas. Et le script, actuellement, c'était très bon. Écrit par 2 Anglais, 2 frères très connus dans le théâtre, ils fait des films, des grands fans de James Brown aussi. Alors je fais les meetings avec les 2 frères anglais en Angleterre. Et le script, j'ai dit, oui, ça, on peut changer ça, et ça, et ça, et ça. Oui. Il dit, oui, mais on peut faire ça.
I'm sure that your contribution helped make things faster, because with your musical credibility, I mean...
Yeah, that helps, and you know, the musical credibility, but we had to convince the studio that there was going to be a movie that was going to be a good movie, you know. But obviously, it's not a movie that's going to be a blockbuster movie, but it's going to be a movie that they're going to be proud of, the studio's going to be proud of, and that they're going to not lose money, and that and that everyone's going to be happy with. And these are not movies, a movie about Afro-American people. It's not always like a shoe-in to get financed. It's not easy because it's not completely in the mainstream. So it's difficult.
What I like about the movie is that the music is very present. I mean, you have all these biopics where they don't really talk about music.
Yeah.
Did you make sure that music was prominent in the movie?
Yeah. Well, yes, but I don't think anyone was wanting to be any different. I think everyone realized that it, because music was music and performance was the center of James Brown's life. So obviously, and with the choice, we had to choose which songs, and there was a lot of toing and froing about which songs were the best ones, because everyone's got a favorite, And then there was the finding of the masters and was it good sound, this one, and it was a lot of work on the music, you know. I mean, just the work on the music alone was huge, you know, in the research and in the finding masters and then working on them to make them sound, you know, work for the movie, make the sound. When we changed the sound a little bit, I mean, not so much that you want to change them completely, but enough to make them sound good when you see it in a cinema or at home, you know.
Would you define James Brown as one of your biggest influences as a performer? As
a performer, yeah, it's definitely one. James Brown and Little Richard, who's also in the movie, and come from the same town and everything, which I never really connected them much, really. I mean, obviously I did, but in the beginning, when I was young, I never really connected them. But both come from the same place, very small place, and both you know, knew each other, and Little Richard was a success before, and this reflects in the scene in the movie, and it's all true. And yeah, so that they were both very influential. Little Richard, I toured with Little Richard, so I knew Little Richard a lot better than I knew James Brown, and so he was very incredibly helpful to me and as a performer in the early days, showing me how to, you know, do things. But James Brown, when I saw him, I really learned a lot. I used to go to his shows a lot, just every time I could, just. You know, I loved it as a fan. I loved it, but I also loved it as a performer. Saying, I see how he does that, and I don't mean the literally moves, but the way. Some moves you think, I wish I could do that, and you try it, and you go, no, I want to get killed. But just the general way he handles it, you know, the show itself.
The film stresses his influence as a businessman too,
yes.
and is really innovative in that field. Did you take any advice from him on that level too, as well as the performance part?
Well, the thing is, you see, well, yeah, I mean, in those days, the artists had no much say in what they did at all, and we had the same problem. It wasn't, you know, people say, well, I always joke with black artists, you know, they say always ripped off. I said, you know, ripping off has no colour lines, you know, they ripped everybody off. Everyone was ripped off. In fact, the first person that actually made a big deal changing that was Frank Sinatra. He kind of wanted some artist control, you know, and before that, so there were movie people that tried to get control, and it was very difficult. And James Brown was one of those people that wanted to have some measure, some leverage of control, and you know, it was hard. And he succeeded in some part to do that, not in all parts, you know. But he was an inspiration to others, I think, to go and be, you know, their own man, as you might say.
You're in the movie yourself, in a scene at the Tammy show.
Oh yeah.
What are your memories of that night? Because that was kind of special, a young British band closing a show in America.
Yeah, it was just.
How did you feel?
Just another day at the office. Yeah. As far as we're concerned, it was easy. Yeah, I was, you know, it was great. I mean, in one way, it was wonderful because you were seeing a lot of people you loved. I mean, I met Marvin Gaye. You know, I never met him before. Marvin Gaye was great. He performed great. Smokey Robinson, I never met him before. I mean, then I saw them, you know, later on. You know, so we'd had a kind of experience together. You know. Chuck Berry I already met before he was on that show, the Beach Boys, all these people. So it was a really nice group, you know. And James Brown I met before and everything. But you know, yeah, a lot of people talk about, oh, we were so awed. I don't remember being awed. I just remember just doing it. You know, it was just great fun. The audience was crazy. I mean, it was the teeny bop years. It didn't matter what you did. The audience just went crazy. You know, just shook your bum once and that was it. Really, that was all you had to do. There wasn't really much work involved. It was just too easy. It was good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.